everyone, welcome back to the Live to Inspire podcast. This is episode 4, and today I want to talk to you guys about acceptance. It's a really interesting concept. It's been a bit of a revelation for myself. I recently had a series of counselling sessions, and I accept that. I accept counselling. And that was one of the words, just a word on its own, that the counsellor said to me about certain situations. She said, what is your acceptance of it? Or can you take any acceptance of it? Now, I posted this on Instagram. I asked people what is their interpretation of acceptance. Some really interesting replies. Some people said the processing of negative thoughts, feelings, outcomes, allowing you to move forward, which is quite interesting. Someone else said embracing the both perfections and imperfections. Another one came all the way from Canada. This one, accepting yourself for who you are and knowing you're on the right path. Someone from Spain message saying accepting everything as it is right now. Everything is as it's meant to be in this moment. Quite like that one. That's a nice phrase. Someone in the UK message saying, knowing that the only power you have over a situation is your mindset. Fascinating comment, that one. Mindset is huge. Mindset is huge in terms of acceptance. I also listened to, I think it was on TikTok actually, Ricky Gervais said, I think it was one of his stand-up shows. He said he's got something like 12 million followers on Twitter, and he said that people take offense to his tweets. And now he said the thing he finds mind-blowing about it is, he said it's the equivalent of seeing in a high street a sign for guitar lessons or free guitar lessons, and someone saying, "Oh, I don't want guitar lessons," and then finding the phone number for these guitar lessons, ringing them up and saying, "Have you got guitar lessons?" "Yes." "I don't want them." Like, if that's the case, walk away. It's not for you. It's not. And the same thing happens with, like Ricky Gervais is saying, in terms of his Twitter, any tweets he puts out, it's not. It's up to you if you take offense from it. There's a level of acceptance there that if that's what someone has done or someone has tweeted, the mindset of that is that you accept that that is their view, or is that is their alignment, or that is, their value, their viewpoint on it. I also Googled it just out of curiosity, just to see what the actual research or sort of definition, stock answer is. Psychology says that it is the active embrace of subjective experiences, particularly distressing experiences. So I find that quite pertinent to myself. I was diagnosed with ulcerative colitis September 2013, so 6 months prior to the Olympic Games, the Winter Olympic Games. I was training heavily for bobsleigh. I'd relocated to Bath. Was living in a 1-bedroom bedsit effectively with my best friend. So we were sharing the room. It was all a bit crazy. So to be diagnosed with that totally out of the blue, I didn't have any idea what it was. And yeah, I went on to have various treatments and medical prescriptions, cameras, all sorts of bits and bobs. It's not an especially pleasant condition. However, I have it in my life. Effectively, one of the cures is to have my colon removed and be fitted with an ileostomy bag. Some people have had that and they've had great success with it. Their life has changed completely. Personally, I don't have that. I manage my condition, but going back to the theme, I accept that I have that condition. It is part of me. It's part of who I am. It's part of my day-to-day life, something I live with every day. And I accept that I have to manage it. Some days will be good and some days will be bad. much like life, and it's just one of those little things that I have to deal with. Some people have asthma, for example. There's a level of acceptance there that there are treatments that people go through. Now, I don't just mean on a medical level, on a psychological or life and even well-being level. It's fascinating that in certain situations, it's almost a regression, I found, to successfully deal with a situation, to accept it. And just taking that word on its own and separating all of the situational components, let's say a relationship, for example, if you've had an argument with your partner, a disagreement, is probably a better phrase, there's a way to deal with it in terms of accepting that perhaps maybe you or them are not necessarily at fault. It may just be an interpretation or misinterpretation of an event, or as this definition says, an experience. It is totally subjective. So again, your view compared to my view may be completely different, and it is well worth reducing the tone, because anything said in anger can't be undone. Changing that mindset, accepting that that person has that view, saying, I accept that that has annoyed you, or please accept that that has annoyed me. It's not something that I value, and, let's try and make sure it doesn't happen again. It's as simple as that. It is hard to deal with. I do totally side with people that struggle with this. I struggled for years and years and years. I've been through depression. I suffer a lot with mental health issues. So I can say with conviction that acceptance, and I only found this out maybe 2 months ago, just the word on its own, acceptance, accept the situation. Another example for you, obviously I spent a large percentage of my life in a sporting context, all the way through to elite and international competitions. I've rubbed shoulders with Olympic people, Olympic athletes, Olympic champions. And I had a very, very good conversation with one Olympic champion, and their mantra was control the controllables. Now that also subliminally implies a level of acceptance that what is the point in giving any mental stress, any mental energy, any physical part of your energy to a situation that you cannot control? I cannot control how much of this podcast you listen to, for example. I accept that. I'm grateful if you do listen all the way through to the end. It's fantastic. Can you control other people's views? Can you control other people, full stop? No, that's free will. You cannot do anything about that. So a level of acceptance that you can only control what you have control over. Again, I will say again, control the controllables. It's a very, very good mantra. It's very simple, it's very effective. If you feel like you're struggling, just repeat it back to yourself. Control the controllables. Have you got control over anything that you personally are doing? If there's something you can change, you have control over it, and you have that level of acceptance that there are some things you can change, some things that you cannot. I also have, I laugh about it, a fairly strong case of colour blindness. So, and whenever I say it to anyone, people who don't know always say, well, what colour's the grass, what colour's the sky, what colour's this, what colour's that. That to me is really annoying, but acceptance in that if people don't know what colourblind is, they don't know what it is. So I then take the view of that's a level of acceptance. I now need to educate these people in terms of what it actually is. Again, it is a day-to-day condition that I live with. There's probably some things that I can see very well and some things that I can't, but it's a condition, I live with it, I accept it, and I manage it because I can control that factor. The final thing I just wanted to talk about is how to practice acceptance. Now, there are a few stages to this. I did write them down. I did make some notes. I do my research. So please do bear with, but it does make a lot of sense. So the first point in terms of trying to practice acceptance is to avoid thinking of situations as good or bad. I think someone mentioned that in one of the replies through social media. It is just a situation. It's neither positive or negative. It's not good or bad. Only see them as they are. It is a situation. It is subjective. Acknowledge the situation, acknowledge the event, be clear and not implying any weakness, giving up or staying in the same place. So accepting situations, accepting factors is simply that. There is not an admission of weakness or at fault. Again, I think someone mentioned it in the comments about being in a position where you can move forward from events, you can learn from events. Matt Weston in the previous episode said about learning and moving forward. It's an experience. That's how we progress. That's how we better ourselves. Again, I confess I had 2, maybe even 3 attempts to have a discussion with Matt for this podcast. One of them was a complete flop. Really, really good content, but the video worked and the audio didn't, which kind of is really significant when you want to do a podcast. So I learned from my mistakes. I admit I made mistakes. I accept them. I learned, I moved forward, and here we are now. Really, really interesting point. Again, practicing acceptance is to start with yourself. Start with the individual that you are. Are you in a position where you can control? Are you in a position that you can understand situations? It's not a case of being a psychologist and reading other people and guessing what their thoughts are, because that then detracts from a subjective experience. It's making sure you are okay within yourself and that you accept where you are and where you want to go. It's so significant. If you can think of that, then you're in a really, really strong position to move forward. And finally, this one came up. I wasn't too sure if I agree or disagree with it. Let me know what your thoughts are. One of the final steps to practicing acceptance is find the good. I find that quite interesting because if you have a subjective situation, as I said previously, you want to detach any good or bad or positives, negatives from it. So acceptance is, I suppose, if you start with yourself and you can find the good in that situation, then that is acceptance, in that I am here, I'm here for whatever reason, this is the situation, I accept that, I am here now, I can now move forward with it, and that then provides a whole different perspective towards moving forward with self. So some interesting thoughts. Personally, I find acceptance a really, really powerful word. If you do have any mantras, please do let me know what they are. I always find other people's mantras really, really interesting. And if you do struggle, there is, like I said, no admission of weakness, no admission of insecurity or emasculation, anything like that. I totally side with you. I've been there. Please do reach out. I know it's hard. I really, really do know it's hard, but a simple text, check in on someone. How are you? Could be a 5-minute chat. Could just be one text. It's as simple as that. Please do check in with people. Stay safe, stay strong, and live to inspire.